Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My last episode was talking about representation of Black women in anime, and that is from being on screen as like a character, production, voice actresses, celebrities, some influencers, things like that. And lo and behold, the Anime Awards were just this past weekend, and Megan Thee Stallion was one of the hosts for the Anime Awards. And like I mentioned in the podcast episode, when it comes to representation, it doesn't just have to be characters, like people who are in production and people who are voice actors, voice actresses, and things like that. That representation also matters too. And seeing a dark-skinned Black woman, just confident and just who loves anime on that stage and just presenting and being her authentic self is just, it really moved my heart. It honestly genuinely moved me to tears, because for so long, and I'm going to talk about my personal experience, and I know that other people can relate. So if you can't relate or that wasn't your experience, then that's okay. That doesn't invalidate anything that you've been through, and it definitely doesn't invalidate my lived experience. But growing up as a dark-skinned Black girl who liked anime, who was maybe a little bit, more on the quiet side, the bullying that you were subjected to was so awful. When you're Black growing up in like a predominantly white town, going to a white school and things like that, like unfortunately, like sometimes bullying is going to happen, and it's very unfortunate that any child or teenager or anything has to go through those things. Like bullying is not a rite of passage. Experiencing bullying is not a rite of passage, and it's just terrible. But if you want to add anime and like being a nerd on top of that, ooh, you got that ish tenfold. And I want to speak from my experience. This isn't like a vice against other people, but for my experience, my bullying didn't just come from white people. It came from people who looked like me, particularly like men who looked like me, and it was terrible. And I'm mentioning that for a very specific reason, because I'm seeing the aftermath of Megan Thee Stallion being one of the hosts at the Anime Awards, and I'm seeing a lot of the same things that like I went through as a child and teenager come up again, when really like this is a win for us, like Black anime fans. This is a win for us. Come on. But first, let's just talk about Megan just being how amazing she is. Her Gojo cosplay, when she like said that she landed in Japan, like yes, like served Gojo. I always love Megan's cosplays. I really do enjoy her cosplays. I think my favorite of her cosplays that she's shown is Todoroki, because I just think Todoroki is just a cool character. Her custom-made dress literally resembled Bruno from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And listen, I have not watched that anime fully, so like don't come for me like if I don't know like too much of things that's going on in that anime in particular, but to see that and like she styled the dress, like that is so cool. I was gonna say like closet cosplay, but like it's not, because it's a custom-made dress, but still, it was dope to see regardless. Any posts about Megan Thee Stallion, at least on Instagram, because I'm not on Twitter anymore, the comments of her like just being there and existing on Crunchyroll's site and then also on the Anime Awards, like Instagram, have been limited because people are just so freaking hateful. You got the racism on one end, you got the misogyny on another end, and then you also have like that nasty like intermixing of both, and people are just coming after like she's not a real anime fan, she just watched stuff that popular. Okay, but even if she watches anime that's only popular, that still means she's watching anime. Like, can we agree on that? Like, we can agree on that, right? Like, still watching anime. But then she has said so many different times that her comfort anime is Yu Yu Hakusho, which is like that's my favorite anime. Yu Yu Hakusho, while it's not as popular as like Jujutsu Kaisen, like it's not. It's older. It's an older anime. Like, I don't know, you don't have to say that like you like older anime to be like legitimate. Like if you watch anime, even if you've only watched like popular anime, or if you've watched, one season of some type of anime, whether that's old or newer, you're still an anime fan. Like that just is. And I'm so glad that Megan is in the era where she is not letting people get to her. Like but the thing is, at the end of the day, she is at the Anime Awards in Japan getting a check and doing the thing that she loves while you're in a Instagram comment section trying to gatekeep a $1 billion industry from like your couch. You and her are not the same. Your opinion is so invalid. Like that is an invalid opinion. Freaking valid. And it hurts even more to see, like, when you click on some profiles, that it's men who look like me doing the gatekeeping, when literally we have somebody who is a Black female rapper repping us like in anime. Like, if we want to talk about representation, if we want to talk about, because I talked about, it's particularly in the section talking about Sister Crone, right? And talking about like lack of exposure. People use lack of exposure as an excuse to an extent, to not know what Black people look like, how Black people interact with each other, or Black culture, or anything like that, right? So let's say, like, for argument's sake, ignorance and lack of exposure is the reason why, you know, we get racist caricatures like Sister Crone in The Promised Neverland. Let's pretend that's the reason why. Having somebody like Megan Thee Stallion working with anime companies and having us right there center stage and getting to interact with her, getting to consult with her. I don't know if she's like into doing voice acting, but, you know, having her work in that aspect, and even not just her too. It's not just her, because I'm a huge proponent of just like, when it comes to working with Black people, especially Black creators in any sense, whether that's music, art, you know, influencer, content creator, whatever the fact, if you're only working with one people or the same like 3 people, I personally have a problem with that. But when you have people like her or like RDC who are just working with these companies and are more center stage, and people gain more exposure to us and how dope we are, I think that gives people a healthy access to Blackness and Black culture, and that's okay. Like, that's a win. That is a win. And I personally would want that education to come that way versus looking at minstrel shows and being like, you know what, that would be a great thing to do? Put that as a horror element in my anime about kids being eaten by demons. You know what I mean? So, it's just really sad. And I see it as a W, not just for the Black community, but particularly Black women, particularly dark-skinned Black women who just love anime, and just want to kiki, and just our love of the craft, you know? Like I said in the last episode, like, anime has a global audience, and the world itself is a diverse place. The world isn't all white. The world isn't all Asian. The world isn't all Black. It's not all of one anything. It's so many different people, so many different backgrounds and cultures and things like that. And anime is very popular. A lot of people relate to a lot of these characters and things like that. Like Yusuke Urameshi is a character that like I relate to. That's why he's like one of my favorite characters in all of anime. Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime, period. Because I saw a lot of myself in him growing up. I just hope that we get to the point where we don't have to like limit our comment section and racism and misogyny, which the intersection of both of those things is actually called misogynoir, if you want to learn a new word today. I just hope that dissipates. I really, really do. Yeah. But regardless, I was just so happy to see her. I'm going to talk about the Anime Awards in a completely different episode. I think I'm going to dedicate an episode just strictly to the Anime Awards, but a particular thing that disappointed me just a little bit. I have no problems with like most of the categories and stuff that have won, except for one or two categories, and I'm just like, you shouldn't have got that one. You shouldn't have got that one, but I'll save that for a later date. Also, doing that format gives me a little bit more time to really write out and research the next topics that I want to do for a full-blown episode. So kind of having that more low lift, but like knowing me, it's not actually low lift episode to give me more time to do a more thorough, longer episode will really help me out, which I don't think y'all would have a problem with that. I don't think so. But listen, like I said before, Black women anime fans, we have been out here. We have always been dope, and honestly, I love to see us winning and killing it and shining in this industry, just like everybody else gets to do. I just want to like conclude on this. Seeing Megan Thee Stallion up there and just being a big fan of hers, a big fan of her journey, and you know, her talking about her mental health and her physical health and just all the things that I have been just seeing just as a fan of hers is really inspiring to me. And I am manifesting this. I don't care how hard I have to work. Like, I will do the work. I will do the thing. Like, I want to present at the Anime Awards one day. Like, I want to do that. I am going to manifest that happening. I love anime. I love talking about anime. I love talking about cozy games. Like, I also want to host like the Wholesome Direct. Like, I am just in the vibe of just manifesting the things that I want, speaking them out loud and giving them voice, giving them shape, and really just going after the things that I want. And I am no longer like stifling myself or lowering myself or hiding parts of myself or performing parts of myself. I've always loved the art of content creation. I love the craft. I'm so in love with being a content creator. And I want to work closer with companies and content creators and people in the anime industry, in the cozy game industry, because I'm throwing that in there too, because we're just speaking truth to this. Not only to be like an example for other people, because I feel like, you know, that's something outside of myself that I can't control. I can only show up and be who I am, but to also prove to me that I can do it. Does that make sense? And I'm like, and it's not like a cocky thing to say that. Like, sometimes when you work really hard for things and you are in the trenches and your mental health is in the gutter and like some of your goals just seem so far off, it's like, is that thing attainable? And then when you're like standing present in the thing and it's like, I'm here. I did that. It's like, y'all always see like my medal for my 5K that I did. Like, I earned that. Like, you have the physical like thing to say like, I was training for this thing and now I have like something that physically represents the thing that I did. I don't know. So I want to manifest that. I want to be a presenter at the Anime Awards. I want to be a host for Wholesome Direct. Like, I am out here talking about anime, talking about cozy games, mental health, and things that just bring me joy. And I am so glad for anybody who sticks around with me on that journey to getting there, because I know that I will, because I have to. This is my home and this is what I love to do. So I'm gonna do it and be the best at it. I hope that makes any form of sense. But you tell me, what was your takeaways from the Anime Award? Did you expect certain shows to win? Were you upset that other shows didn't win? And what do you think about like the public voting process? Do you think that there should be more transparency with that? Because I have so many thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments and I will see you very soon. And you have a magical day. Bye.